My name's Cottondonkey, and I'm here to give a review of the Dresden Files Cooperative Card Game by Evil Hat Productions, based upon the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. With me are Mr. Scarecrow.
Where am I? What am I doing here? Shouldn't I be in a cornfield?
And here you go, Dr. Wolf.
Oh, thanks. Hello, hello, hello! Now I don't know what I'm doing here. Or why I have this weird party drop behind me.
The Dresden Files Cooperative Card Game is it's a cooperative game for 1 to 5 players. Play it on a board. The game board has a layout in which you place fate point counters, hit counters, and clue counters, as well as place cards for the books you choose as your challenge.
It also has a magic circle in the back, in case you want to summon demons.
I think that's a magic protection circle. Each book has a showdown card, which will be placed in the showdown spot on the board. And cards that are either foe, case, advantage, or obstacle are placed randomly in the 2 rows within the range of 1 to 6. Obstacles and advantages can't be in the 6th range, so if there are any there, you will swap them with 1 case or foe that are in the same row, the closest one to the end. Each time an obstacle or advantage is taken, it is placed in the book discard, and everything else will move down a range. Also, any defeated foes will be placed in the book discard area, but any case cards that are solved are placed in the solved cases space on the board. Some cards affect other cards. If any of the cards have a relationship with each other,
then they have to be real careful to wear protection circles. I hope they didn't just meet.
If any of the cards have a relationship with each other, they will have a letter on it and an arrow indicating whether it is being affected by a card or it is affecting another card. You should look at all the cards once they're laid. That way you can try to determine the best way to handle them, and if there are any abilities or whatnot that affect you while you're playing the game. For player decks, one player must play as Harry Dresden, while the other players may choose or be dealt a character at random.
I don't want to play Harry. I want to play a wolf.
There is a character where you get to play 2 werewolves.
Hooray!
Are there scarecrows?
No. There's a scarecrow foe.
Can I play them?
No. You can defeat it.
Aww.
Players will put their talent and their stunt cards face up in front of them and shuffle their decks. I'll explain those cards in a bit. There are special rules for 1 or 2 players, and depending on the number of players depends on how many cards you will draw for your hand. In your hand, you will find 4 types of cards. You will find yellow overcome cards for obstacles, purple advantage cards for advantages, red attack cards for foes, and green investigate cards for cases. All cards have a fate cost and a range, And while attack cards have how many hits you can do to a foe, investigate cards have how many clues you can do to a case. And if you ever have hits equal to or greater than the hits needed to defeat a foe, it is defeated. And the same goes for the clues on a case. Sometimes there will be a white box with a value in it. This means you must roll the fate dice equal to the number in the box. In this case, it's a 1. Fate dice, you got purple and orange, there's no difference between them, have a plus sign, meaning you add 1 to your result, a minus sign, where you take away a number, or blanks, which are just zeros. So in this case, I had a range of 3, and I had to roll 1 dice. If I got a plus, I'd have a range of 4. Minus, I'd have a range of 2. If it was blank, I'd still have a range of 3.
Thank you, Mr. Mathematician.
Now this means sometimes you could pay more or less for fate. You could have more or less hits or clues to place, or even have a longer range or not enough range to reach your target anymore, which means you still have to pay the fate, but the card won't do anything.
Why would I pay more for less? It's a raw deal. I won't do it. You can't make me.
On your turn, you could do one of a few things. You can play a card from your hand, paying the fate needed, and rolling any fate dice if applicable, also seeing if there are any modifiers from the cards on the board. You could use your stunt card, but it can only be used once per game. It's just a special ability you have. You can discard a card for fate by putting it in your personal discard pile and adding fate equal to its fate cost back into the fate pool. So if I had already used 7 fate and I decided that I wanted to gain some fate, I would discard this card, which would normally cost 3 fate to use, but I'm going to discard it without using it to gain 3 fate back into my available fate pool. This is important, as you will need fate to use cards, and your fate will deplete. Whenever you do this, you may use your talent card if you can. Lastly, you can pass. This does cost 1 fate, so you can only do it if there's at least 1 fate available.
Maybe I'll play it out. No. What if I use my... No, I've already used that. I don't want to use this card. Pass!
You might pass for a number of reasons. It may seem like a better strategy, or you might not have any cards left to play, or you're stunt to use. But you may not want to go into the showdown yet. Players are working together to defeat foes and solve cases. If at any time all players agree, or if a player must pass and there are no more fate allowing them to do so, players must enter the showdown phase. You can also enter it if a player uses a card with a variable cost and it ends up costing more fate than is available. On the showdown card, it tells you how many fate dice you can use to try to defeat foes that already have hits on them, or solve cases that already have clues on them. This is during the showdown. You may also spend available fate points on each target to use better odds. So I could spend 0 fate tokens and roll 6 fate dice, or I could spend 1 fate and I can get 1 guaranteed fate and roll 5 fate dice to try to defeat a foe.
Come on, dice. Papa wants to solve a case. Aww. Are you sure these are called fate dice?
At the end of the game, if players have solved more cases than there are foes on the board, the players win the game. if the cases solved are equal to or less than the amount of foes on the board, then the players will lose the game.
Eagle always wins. Ties. Eagle always wins ties. Always.
There are discussion rules to limit players from revealing to the other players what cards they have in their hand. This is explained in the rules and there to prevent slowing the game down. It also makes it a bit more difficult.
Okay, so I have these attack cards. I can get that obstacle. I can generate some fate. No, I can't help you investigate. You're on your own.
There are 3 levels of difficulty, also explained in the rules. Starting the players out with a certain number of fate points to make the game easier or harder for the players. But make no mistake, this game is hard, like a good cooperative game should be.
Harder? What do I look like? A wizard? I'm a wolf. A wolf in cowboy clothes. Give me apprentice mode, you psycho.
Thoughts? Mr. Scarecrow? Okay. Dr. Wolf?
Box is nicely made. Fits all the expansions. It has these nice dividers in it. Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Wolf?
Nice art, simple to learn, quick to set up. Could I just say something? I like pancakes. There, I said it. I'm glad I could get it out there.
Thanks, guys. Okay, my thoughts. I really did enjoy the puzzle aspect of the game, and the random element makes each game a bit different. The quality of the cards are, they're alright. The design of the box, it does hold all the expansions, and it does have very nice separators. It's well organized and well done. The random element makes each game a bit different, even playing the same book, although it could make it incredibly harder depending on what cards you drew and what order that the cards fall on the board. I do like the theme, although I hadn't much experience with the Dresden files. My girlfriend has the books, she read them, and she said the theme is closely tied to the books, so there are some spoiler alerts if you are reading the books.
You have a girlfriend? You liar!
Anyways, this game is definitely different than most of the games I've played. It's fun, I enjoy playing solo as well as with other people, and it's a game I'll be keeping on my shelf. I recommend you check it out. I could do a quick playthrough video, but you could probably find plenty of playthrough videos online already if you wanted more information. Thank you for watching. This is Cottondonkey, out.